You're listening to Reignite, a podcast about how much we love our lizard son. I'm MJ.
And I'm Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
And we're so happy to bring back Nelson Lugo.
Welcome back, Nelson.
Hooray! Hello, internets.
Hey.
You couldn't stay away for long as one of our top Mass Effect fans.
Yeah, sure, let's go with that.
For folks that may or may not remember, Nelson joined us a few episodes back to do a kind of post-mortem on Mass Effect 1, so no point in going through all the usual stuff that we go through with our guests. Instead, Nelson, why don't you remind people what it is you do and what you're known for?
Oh, man.
What a big question.
What a big question. I guess by day, I am a graphic designer. By night, I am a magician. And when people let me, I am also a DJ.
Yeah, I don't know if when we recorded last, you were currently DJing, or you might have just started DJing because it was a while ago.
I don't remember. I know that I've been DJing at a vintage absinthe tasting party for the better part of like 2 or 3 years now. So I may have been doing that.
Oh, that's true. Let the listeners know what your DJ name is for that, because I love it.
Oh, I have 2 DJ names. So when I'm playing vintage music, I go by DJ Jalopy.
Nice.
And I am also the guy who pushes play sometimes for Schaefer the Dark Lord. When I'm doing that, I am known as DJ Lugatron.
3000.
3000, yes. Lugatron 3000.
Yes. And you have a DJ button that literally says DJ.
Well, yes.
Let's go with that.
I can't really take credit for it. It came with the digital controller.
With the digital controller? Well, that's great. I mean, everyone who DJs should have a button they press to announce their title.
Yes.
I feel like that should be a requirement.
Yes.
I'm really happy to have you back on. When we first got to know each other way back when, forever ago it feels like in nightlife history, that's one of the first things we talked about was once I found out you like Mass Effect, I was like, oh, you like Mass Effect?
Yeah.
What did you play? What did you do? All those things.
True.
Let's get into the summary. No time to waste.
Yes. We'll do the summary and then we'll ask Nelson why he chose this mission.
Yes, I have it in the outline in that order.
I'm stating it aloud for my own benefit. Leave me alone.
Way to reveal the magic behind the scenes. Anyway, so now that Morden is taken care of, we're free to ask the clan leader what's wrong with our sweet lizard son. It turns out the problem is puberty. The clan leader gives Grunt permission to speak to the clan shaman and see about the rite of passage. A Krogan named Uvenk protests heavily, but his opinion means nothing, and Grunt is permitted to proceed. The squad fights through waves of enemies while learning some Krogan history. Uvenk shows up at the end to insult Grunt and offer him a place with his clan instead. Grunt says, no thanks, and everyone fights. The end.
Oh, it's a feel-good story.
It is a feel-good story. So Nelson actually reminded me, because I told him we were going to ask this question of why you chose this mission. Nelson's like, because you told me to. And I was like, oh yeah. But
yeah, I chose this mission because I was told by Matt I would be talking about this mission.
But the reason I had said that actually was because you told me many times that Grunt is one of your favorite characters.
Yeah, absolutely. Grunt is one of my favorite characters.
And I would love to know a little bit about why he's one of your favorite characters.
I think because, well, in Mass Effect 1, we learn about the Krogan through Rex.
Right.
But it's also very limited. We don't really meet a whole lot of other Krogan that we're not shooting in the face, right?
Right.
So, we learn from Rex, we learn about the genophage, we learn about their involvement in the Rachni War. Like, we get a lot of, historical context. What we don't get is cultural context, right? So, and Grunt is perfect because he's a blank slate. He doesn't know anything about Krogan culture except what he has sort of been given via like a textbook, info dump, right?
Yeah.
There's no context. There's no connection to any of the information that he has in his brain. And I think this was something that you and I talked about off mic, is that Grunt's mission, his loyalty mission, isn't really that deep or involved. It's really just wave after wave of enemies. But what we don't get in terms of, we don't get any of these sort of character development. What we do get is cultural development. We get Krogan cultural development. Like, we talk to a shaman. We talk about what that means, right? We talk to we learn about this rite of passage, which we never heard of before, right?
Right.
We meet other Krogan that we're not shooting, and they have opinions about what it means to be Krogan, at least, on Chuchanka under Clan Urdnot, right?
Yeah.
Like we meet a fucking, Krogan mechanic. Who the fuck knew they could be mechanics? we meet a Krogan scientist. Who the fuck knew they could be fucking Krogan scientists?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that shit. I just thought they all fucking killed each other all the time. So we don't learn anything about Grunt per se, but it's through Grunt, because of the trial, that we learn more about the Krogan. And I think that's where the value in that loyalty mission lies.
And I guess because you've already gone on record saying Rex is also one of your favorites, that because you like the Krogan so much, this must have been really great in Mass Effect 2 to get all of this backstory for these characters you've always really liked.
Well, I think because the Krogan have always been sort of like a one-dimensional species, right?
Right.
Like, they just fight. They fight and they can't breed. They don't make babies. That's it. That's all we really know about them. And Grunt is the first time that we actually learn about Grunt society and the hierarchy, and particularly in what Rex is trying to do in uniting the clans and setting up a breeding program. And I think it's really sort of fascinating, this sort of deep dive into Krogan culture.
Yeah.
On top of that, Grunt says some fucked up shit. He says some of the best, funniest shit I have ever heard in a video game ever. If you take him along to pick up Jack, the first words out of his mouth when Jack escapes is, "Oh, I gotta see this." Like, he is pumped. He's like, "Oh man, let's get in there. I want to see how this fucking turns out." So Rex is our introduction to the Krogan, and I think Rex has a more well-rounded personality.
Sure.
But Grunt, because he's learning everything from new, he's our conduit into this world, because we learn as he learns.
Yeah, totally.
Essentially.
That's awesome. Well said.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the meat of this episode, as it were, the Varen meat, I guess, we have some check-ins to do on the ship. Do you want to talk a little bit about the email we receive?
Oh my god, this fucking email.
What email?
This is an email from someone. Okay, so the mission we did right before this was Morden's, but before that was Jack's.
Ooh, yeah.
So you get an email from someone in Cerberus being like, "Hey, the Elusive Man told me to email you. We wanted you to know that the Elusive Man had this shut down before the riot happened. When we showed up, all the guards were dead. There were some injured children. So we gave them amnesic treatments and then took them to slaver camps. Or not slaver camps, recovery camps for people who were attacked by slavers. But, like, kind of sifted them in there with other children who had been traumatized. And I'm just like, you fucking wiped their memories? I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like that is a violation.
I'm into it.
Like,
I'm into it. Seriously. I mean, if I could take a pill that wiped my memory, I'd be all in on that shit.
So while that is valid, what if it doesn't last? What if suddenly they're 25 and they remember, oh shit, I murdered someone with my bare hands?
You know what? That's a problem for future Nelson. Current Nelson would like a very eternal sunshine of a spotless mind. Is what current Nelson would like.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my favorite thing about this, though, is the audacity of this Cerberus mook. It's
like, hey, just so you know, we're not assholes. All we did was wipe their memories and slip them in with other trauma patients. Come on.
Yeah, you know who Shepard is. Like, really? Okay. I mean, I guess the Elusive Man at this point is scarier to Cerberus than Shepard, but not for much longer.
Yep. And, like, the fact that, hey, the Elusive Man wanted me to tell you this. I'm just like, that's because he's a fucking coward and can't tell me to my face.
Of course not. He's got to be suave Martin Sheen all the time.
Oh,
God,
don't
I'm
speak
so
ill of
angry
Martin
about
Sheen.
Martin Sheen is great. Fuck the elusive man.
Fair enough.
You know what? Look here. You know what? Everybody's the hero of their own story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Moving on, we'll talk about our check-ins really brief. So we check in with Morden, who is pretty much over the whole ordeal already, because apparently Solarians process emotional trauma really fast. Like,
well,
within
that
minutes.
and also that, and I think Morden is like, I think he's weird even by Solarian standards.
That's probably true. Too.
So he probably compartmentalizes like a mofo.
So what I really love is that when you say, okay, but Malin didn't do this thing that you're describing, Morden's just like, yeah, I said that we do it faster, not healthier.
Which I'm like, all right, truth. All right, there we go.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you said that. He's just so like, okay, moving on about it. And I guess I get it when you're a short-lived species and you have to process things like so quickly. You're so short-lived that you can't even bother with marriage.
Yeah. Which was sad. I forgot about that when he brought that up. And like also, I think what's interesting though is like then you're like, but what about the data? And he has continued to rush through. He's like, well, we can't worry about that now. We're worrying about the collectors. We'll worry about that later. Right now, need to save the world. And I'm like, oh, all right. Well, you're right.
Yeah, that's valid.
Well, I think that just has to do more with Morden. I think because of his time in the STG and his time as a scientist, and he likes to think in terms of this sort of like hierarchical need of what's the most important thing to be doing at this moment. I think Morden is just unique among Solarians in that he's just, I don't know, he's just more able to compartmentalize in terms of his emotional life.
He's also task-oriented like hell. Like,
yeah.
That he's super focused.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that's like at all. Catch me sitting down for 14 hours working on a cross stitch and being like, why am I hungry? Why do my arms hurt?
From here, we check in with Jack. I did try and check in with Jacob, and really quick, I hate the male-male relationship with Jacob, because literally at this point, every time you try to talk to him, even when he says he doesn't want to chat, he gives you like the man-on-man half hug, stereotypical half hug, and goes, don't worry, we'll chat about it over drinks. And I'm like, oh, stop. You're such a stereotype. This is not okay.
He does that with me too.
Oh, does he? Well, because you went the friend route with him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not romancing him. No, thank you.
But
you were too traumatized. I cannot.
But we do the only other major check-in is with Jack, who he had done a mission with recently. And what's interesting for me here is so I wasn't sure, like the character I was most interested in, besides my lizard son, who I love, was Jack. This time around, I was really fascinated with her story. I really empathized with her. I saw her character in a light I don't know that I saw in previous playthroughs. And so when she asked if I had feelings for her, I said yes. Which is how the conversation pretty much starts, with like her thanking you, and then you saying something nice and her asking you outright. And when you say I do, she's like, I don't need this right now. And my shepherd pretty much said, but I can tell there's something here. And she's like, all right, I never want to talk to you ever again, or at least for a long time. Go away. And what's really annoying is on the meta level, if you go back and talk to her again, the candid responses are still there. So she'll go, sup, and then when you say, oh, I gotta go, she'll go later. Like, and it took me out of that moment, like, because I got it. Like, when I said I'm interested, even though I wasn't forceful, she totally wanted nothing to do with it and pushed me away, which I get. But, like, the fact that you can talk to her again and she's like, nothing happened because of the pre-programmed script, I was just like, oh, that sucks. Like, I wish she would have, like, for at least that moment, not had any conversation options and just said, I told you to go away or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
What was the conversation like for someone who doesn't have that option with her?
So when I approached her, she was like, you're always coming down here to talk to me. And I was like, I miss you when you're not around. And she's like, yeah, I'm not really into, like, gal pals. okay, thanks. We're friends. Let's just leave it there. And I was like, oh, okay. I just wanted to see how you were doing. I guess I'll go for it. Bye.
Yeah, the first line with me was the same. And but when she says you're always checking on me, I was able to say, well, that's because I like you. And like she immediately just loses it. Like not in a Jack way. Like she was actually sounded pretty tender and like nervous. She's just like, no, I can't deal with this. You need to go. I'm like, okay, I guess maybe we'll talk later.
I like Jack a lot. I like her character. I like her growth in Mass Effect 2. I have a love-hate relationship with I don't know. She just seems a tad cliche at times. Like the whole, like, I'm troubled, I'm bad, I'm traumatized, look how tough I am. But really, once you get past the tough exterior shell, I'm a lovable mushball. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It seems a bit easy in terms of like writing, but I think it's also necessary, particularly in Mass Effect 2, because there isn't any one, I guess maybe Garrus in losing his squad, who has this kind of like this hurt that they're dealing with, right? And they don't have an outlet for it, and they're trying to find answers to questions that they don't know how to ask. And I don't know. I think I go back and forth on Jack a lot in terms of whether or not it's a little too pat or if it's good storytelling. And sometimes I land on good storytelling. Sometimes I land on this was a pretty easy trope to mine. And but I think overall if the character of Jack wasn't there would still need to be someone there who at first seems like they don't have anything to lose anymore.
Yeah.
And then realizes they have everything to lose once they start caring again. And so if Jack wasn't there, I wouldn't know who that would be. So
yeah, I mean, I like Jack's character too. I think I'm just getting, like, we talked a lot about in the first game how I was slowly falling in love with Caden. Whatever, he's charming.
Sure.
But like, it was because I paid attention to his character in a way that I had not before. Whereas this time around with Jack, especially since my boy Caden isn't really around this time, I find some qualities in her that I found in Caden, but also I think just I paid more attention this time. It's very easy in the early years when I played Mass Effect to like not even pay attention.
Sure.
And so like now that I'm absorbing more about these characters, I think because I'm absorbing more about these characters, and specifically a character like Jack, I'm finding feelings where there might not have been before. So from here, I guess we can move on to the meat of the mission, MJ, unless there's anything you want to add about your interaction with Jack.
Nah, I wish that I could just be like, okay, well, friendship is kind of a two-way street, but fine. But that's about it. Like, I think that the nice thing about the way we do this podcast is it forces us to pay more attention to different characters.
Yeah.
So that way we see them in different ways,
Yep.
which is why you turned around on Caden and I turned around a bit on Ashley. And, like, now you're seeing Jack in this new light. Oh, my God, Sunny. Nobody cares.
Is your cat being loud again?
Sunny is yelling at John to let her in.
Let me in. Nobody loves me.
Oh.
I'm leaving myself a note to hopefully edit this out. We'll see how that goes.
Unless everybody wants to hear about how Sunny's doing poorly.
Right, poorly. All right, so let's move on to the bulk of Rite of Passage. So we're not at it yet, but this mission has my favorite renegade option, and I'll talk about it when we get to it.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
But so we approach the clan leader, which for me and MJ are both Rex, and like I love Rex so much, and it's so much easier to love him even more in the second game because like he's grown as a person. You can tell immediately. He's so much like, even though he's still the same brushed person, he's so much warmer. Like when he first sees you, like we talked about when we did Old Blood, like he embraces you. He's so excited to see you. He's visibly happy, which is not anything we saw in the first game very much, which is so cool to see.
Yeah, and it's almost leadership. He takes to it really well, right? Yeah. So he has this grand idea that's controversial, right? Which is to unify the clans, right? Yeah. And I think he says at one point, he's like, you know, I will drag your clan kicking and screaming, and if I have to glory. And I think, because I think he truly loves being Krogan. He truly loves the Krogan people, and he understands their fatal flaw, and it's the clans, this separateness that they foist upon each other, and it's a side of Rex that I didn't think was possible.
Yeah,
and to see him in this leadership role is pretty fucking incredible, because like when I first played the game, when I slowly dawned on me, like, wait, is Rex the fucking president of the Krogan? Fucking shitballs, that's awesome. And I was sad that he wouldn't come with me, but I also realized, you got fucking bigger fish to fry here.
Yeah. He's got shit to do.
He's got fucking shit to do. Yeah. Love me some Rex.
Yeah. And also, like, the interesting thing about this mission versus other missions is that, like, and Morden's mission was sort of like this too. It's pretty streamlined. Like, you talk to Rex, he mentions the Rite. Like, he kind of looks at Grunt for a minute. He, like, takes him in. Yeah. Doesn't really insult him, but, like, takes him in, whereas Uvenk is, like, scowling the whole time. And then pretty much says he needs to do the Rite. If he does the Rite, he'll be fine. Like, that's what he's missing. He's missing what
Uvenk can go fuck himself. I hate him so much.
I mean, that's the point. But I have to say, like, the fact that Michael Dorn, the actor who played Worf in Star Trek The Next Generation, for those who don't know, is the voice of Uvenk, is so fun to me, considering the actress who played Troy was Liara's mother in the first game. Yeah. Like, the fact that they're putting Star Trek cast members in this epic sci-fi game is really great. And he's actually really great as Uvenk, because he's very easy to hate as a character, which always plays for a strong, terrible character. Like, a strong, evil, mean, bad character. But yeah, and then, like, essentially Rex is like, oh, go talk to the shaman, he'll figure it out, and then you'll go from there.
Yeah, he's like, there's nothing wrong with him, he's just fucking Krogan.
Yeah, before you push us forward, Rex basically tells you that the problem is puberty, and I have Garrus with me, who is just like, are you serious? Can we just take him to Omega and find him some dances? Yes. Why do we have to do this?
Yes. So I actually had Garrus with me also, because I remembered that line and I wanted to hear it again. Like, it's why, like, Garrus is my best friend as my shepherd, just because he says the shit that I'm thinking without thinking. He just says it.
Also, there's a moment where Grunt is telling Rex, who, like, made him, he's telling him about Okier, and Rex is saying, like, everybody hates that guy, so
yeah.
It's like, I don't know how this is gonna go.
I'm distilled from Augur, Shiager.
Yeah.
Those are hated names.
Yeah.
No, it was Okier who was the hated name.
Oh no, all of the names that Grunt fucking tosses out, Rex comments like, those are very hated names. So
no, that's not what happened. I'm sorry to, like, correct you, but when Grunt says, like, my line is distilled from these Krogan warlords and battle masters, Uvenk says, like, you spit out these names and you don't even know what you're talking about. Whereas Grunt continues to say, like, I was created by the warlord Okier. Rex specifically says Okier is a very hated name.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
You're
okay.
right. You're right.
Yeah. It's specifically Okier who's hated. Because Shiager and I can't remember the other ones, but those are respected names.
Oh, I didn't get that part. I missed that.
Yeah. Those are the names that are, like, called upon when they want to, like, honor their ancestors. It's names that we've heard again and again. Whereas Okier is a name that everybody, like, knows and hates. Everybody hates Okier. And Grunt says to him, well, he's dead. And Rex is like, of course he is. You're with Shepard. And I just want to be like, okay, rude.
Yeah, like, wait a minute. Like, that's not how this always goes. Except maybe it is, but still.
Oh, come on. Every problem in Mass Effect is solved by shooting a gun.
That's mostly true.
So personally, I told Grunt, like, this is your choice. If you want to do this,
Same.
we'll do this.
Yeah. Whenever in this mission that I could defer to Grunt making his own decisions, I did, because my shepherd also, like, trying to grow with Grunt and trying to talk to him. I was like, this dude needs to find his place, and if I decide for him, he's not going to do that.
You're going to be such a good dad one day.
Yeah. That may not be in the cards, but that's enough about that.
I think I basically made choices that allowed me to learn more about the culture.
Yeah.
Essentially, because every time you delve deeper, you get a bit more information.
Yeah,
You know what I
totally.
mean?
Yeah.
You know, because at one point, like, the shaman, like, Shepherd goes up and he's like, Grunt needs the rights, and the shaman's like, well, I mean, okay, it's not the letter of the law, but you got the spirit of the law. Let's go do this.
Yeah. There's also an optional conversation that happens after this one. Did you do that one, MJ?
Is that with the ambassador?
Mm-hmm.
No, I did not do this one.
Okay. It's just...
Before you get to it, though, I just want to say this quote that Rex delivered before I forget, because I really care about it.
Sure.
How many times have you stepped in a mess for your crew?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Literally all the time, Rex.
Yeah.
I care about it because I care about Rex and their friendship. And every time he says, Shepherd, my friend.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. It's like, it's so pure. But yeah, from here...
Bros.
Bros for life.
Space bros.
Space bros. When you go up the stairs, you can talk to the shaman. But before you do, there's a Krogan ambassador. And, like, the conversation is your kind of cliche Mass Effect conversation where he doesn't like you because you're human.
Yeah.
You use either Renegade or Paragon. I use Paragon to convince him otherwise of why you're great. He comes around, and then, like, the conversation ends. It doesn't even lead to a mission or anything, which I thought there was something. It's just a conversation you can have.
Well, it's another one of those opportunities for cultural insight, right?
That's true.
Because
yeah.
once again, it's like, Krogan ambassador? What the fuck? Like,
they have politicians?
Yeah, and like, you don't just, like, being an ambassador is not appointed. He fought.
Yeah,
he
sure.
killed to be an ambassador.
Yeah.
He killed his fellow Krogan to be an ambassador, which is, again, so Krogan. By the way, that's the name of my new sitcom.
That's so Krogan. Yeah, I like it. It's like a Krogan family sitcom.
Yes.
Yeah. We're the youngest, sassiest Krogan, our lizard son Grunt. It's
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
does he also have psychic powers like in That's So Raven?
No. But in That's So Krogan, he has I'm gonna shoot you in the face powers.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That story tracks.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to the actual conversation for the story, with the shaman, like, first of all, I love the shaman doesn't have a name. He's just the shaman.
Right.
Like, you know,
Well, he
because
gave up
there's...
his name.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I love how within seconds, especially once Uvenk starts to yammer on again, you win the shaman over so fast.
Yes.
Just by, like, just in conversation. And then can we talk about my favorite renegade option now?
Yes, please.
Yes.
So while Uvenk is protesting and raising his voice and flapping his gums, you get a renegade option, which I took. MJ, I'm guessing you took as well.
Yes, I did, because fuck this guy.
I always take that renegade option.
And what it is for those who haven't played yet, or who haven't taken the action, Shepard, without hesitating, just headbutts Uvenk like a Krogan. And the shaman immediately is delighted by his action.
And Uvenk, I don't think...
yes.
He said, yeah, and I don't think Uvenk even registers as pain.
No, it's just
it's the shock, the audacity. You know, like, there's a moment of silence, and then Uvenk says very slowly, "You dare," and it's the best fucking reaction ever.
Yeah, it's like, fuck yeah, I dare. I'll do it again.
So good. It's one of my favorite renegade options because it's... First of all, I don't agree that it's a renegade option. I feel like that's an anything option.
Well, I mean, it's also like the most appropriate cultural way to deal with that in Krogan society.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's how Krogans interact with each other. That's how they challenge each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, fuck this guy.
Yeah. But the shaman is immediately delighted, and then lets you know that you don't have to do the rite on your own, that people can help you when you question it, like, but what about being a warrior? It's like, a warrior's strength is not just him, but who he also allies with. And so that's kind of a really cool thing, because you think about the Krogan being kind of solitary, self-centered warriors, but the reality is they're probably not. That because of how the clans run, while the clans themselves can be insular when they're not united, they're still a unit. And they think that way.
I think the shaman says something along the lines of, you know, how can you possibly be a warrior if you can't inspire others to kill and die for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, far more profound than Mass Effect deserves to be honest.
I love the way the shaman says, excellent.
Yeah. he pulls a Mr. Burns. He's just very pleased. And I love how Uvank storms off, too. With his tail between his legs, even though Krogan's tails can't go between their legs.
Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I love that they have a word for, like, their squad leader, their Krant.
Yeah.
You know, who is your Krant? Yeah. Shepard is my Krant. And I guess I guess I have to look this up on a wiki, but is Battlemaster the same as Krant?
Krant is the people that would die for you.
Okay.
Battlemaster is who you would die for, I think.
Got it. Okay.
So it can be both.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, it can be both. So, like, Shepard is Grunt's Krant because Shepard will, like, fight and die for Grunt.
Yeah.
And Shepard is Grunt's Battlemaster because he has devoted himself to her cause.
Yeah. Got it.
So.
Yeah.
Just a little Krogan background for everybody.
There you go. It's an education. Who said we weren't educational? I guess we can move on from this to the actual rite now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this is sort of like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. What's that? What were you going to say?
No, it's okay. I was just going to explain what it was. So if you have a different point, go ahead.
No. I guess I was just going to say, like, this is where it sort of deviates from most loyalty missions in that you don't really learn anything. You're just killing wave after wave of enemies at this point. You do get the occasional, like, loudspeaker a la Communist Party sort of, like, fun fact.
Yeah.
But it's mostly just background, basically.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a whole lot of fun and very, very fucking challenging. But it's just a straight up fucking horde mode.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. So what the Rite of Passage requires is for us to go to one of the surface cities that was destroyed during the rebellions. So we actually go to the surface of Tuchanka rather than this underground city that we originally visited. And the cool thing about this is when we get above ground, there's this shot of Grunt, and he looks so awestruck by everything that he's looking at. He's just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And the shaman is explaining to you what the keystone is and that it has endured like the Krogan. And I'm just like, this is what Grunt was made for.
And
he was made to do this.
And before you go beyond this point, I just this is another opportunity to talk about the cinematography in this game. That scene where you're coming up from underground and the camera goes between the four people there and goes past the shaman as he says that line and then shows the ruined city.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so beautifully staged. And there are more moments in this game that are just kind of standard video game fare, but it's because of moments like that one where it feels like a movie that I really love this game, because it's just the way the camera moves is so well done, and in most standard, like, kind of gameplay forward games, you wouldn't get that.
Also, can we take a sidebar for a moment to talk about the Krogan battle bus? I am so fucking in love with the Krogan battle bus. And I'm very disappointed I don't get to drive it because, man, I would fucking go hog wild in that goddamn thing.
Yeah, I don't know, anything with large wheels, much like the Mako, I have no desire to drive. There is a tweet I shared recently from someone we've shouted out before on the podcast, Derek of the Dykes, Derek Van Dyke, who's a streamer. The physics on the PC version of Mass Effect is so bad that sometimes not only will the Mako bounce, because he's playing through Mass Effect 1 right now on his stream, the Mako will sometimes move on its own. And so he made a clip of his Twitch stream to Pony by Genuine of the Mako sitting still and moving.
Yeah.
While he's going, oh my. And it's just the best example of how broken that thing is, but also hilarious. And so I have to assume the reason we don't get to drive anything in this game is because of the complaints of the Mako in the first game, which I have mixed feelings on, only because we don't get to explore in this game as much as we did in the first, which is kind of a bummer. But the battle bus does look awesome, and I do love... It doesn't happen in this mission, but when we did Old Blood, I don't remember if we mentioned it. When you arrive in Old Blood, everyone kind of like swings out of the door.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
Fuck yeah, that's fucking cool. Anyway, all right.
As we were.
Back to the mission.
So yeah, we fight waves of enemies. I forget, what class are you, MJ?
Sentinel.
You're Sentinel, okay. So, remember how we were talking about on a lot of other combat portions of missions, how I've been kind of bummed because as a Vanguard, I don't get to charge much because it's into a crossfire and I usually get killed. Mm-hmm. In this mission, it's Varen and then weird lobster creatures and...
the Clixon.
And all lobster creatures. And then I get to... Vanguard charge my heart out because this is all like these are not things with guns, and it was so this is the most fun I've had playing as the Vanguard during the replay at this point, because it was just like I would charge at one and then shoot the other with the shotgun, and then I would charge to another. It was really great. How was the fight for you as a Sentinel?
It was fine. It wasn't anything spectacular.
Yeah.
Like, we start with the Varen, and I always feel really bad fighting Varen because they're just weird dogs, and I don't want to fight the weird dogs. I want to make friends with them.
Well, yeah, especially since for me on Tuchanka, I befriended the one. There's one Varen you can befriend by feeding it the Pyjak meat, and it's funny too when you return, like he's waiting for you at the doorway, at the top of the doorway. It's the best. But yeah, no, Varen
love him.
I know.
I'm gonna cry.
Because I usually play engineer, and as an engineer, that fight is particularly tough because it's all organic.
Yeah.
And so
so you can't use a lot of your abilities.
Right. So a lot of my abilities are just not great against organics. I mean, there's like energy drain, and there's
Overload.
There's like a fireball.
Yeah.
Magic missile, I call it.
Yeah. Incinerate.
It's
Overload.
Yes. Space magic missile.
Overload, incinerate.
Incinerate. That's it. And luckily, because of all of the times I played, I could pick up the assault rifle. Ability, and so that helps a lot. But man, playing as an engineer is fucking rough in that particular.
Well, because you're the equivalent of a tech caster in the Mass Effect universe.
Yeah.
Whereas the full biotic is a space wizard.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of me hiding behind pillars.
Yeah, sure.
And a lot of me, making commands to my squads to do all kinds of fucked up shit. Morden is a great person to bring because he has a shit ton of organic abilities to use, and I also love the fact that he shouts out, there's a cure, and then shotgun somebody in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about what we end up fighting. So like we talked about, we fight the Varen.
Yep.
And then there are the Clixon, which we only ever see on Tuchanka.
That's it.
They're like these weird, crab things.
Oh, yeah.
That shoot fire at you and also explode when you kill them.
Yes.
That also are dropped off by a mother lizard creature that flies around the battlefield.
They get airdropped in by their mother.
Yeah. That looks nothing like them.
Okay, go play. They're dropped off for daycare, and then, oh no.
Yes. And then... Yeah, so it's Varen, the crab creatures.
And then
the
the
Thresher
Rachni.
Maw.
Thresher Mar. No
Wait,
Rachni.
there's no Rachni in this?
Nope.
No
Just the
Rachni.
Thresher Mar.
Just Thresher.
That fucking Thresher Maw. Jesus
So, like,
fucking Christ.
It's funny, I forget how powerful Thresher Maws are until I fight one again. And I only died once, but like it was literally not getting behind cover enough and then getting behind cover, but like my foot was out.
Yeah.
And, like, so I just fell over.
So you get splash damage.
Yeah, and then fall over.
Jesus.
So I didn't have any problems, and that's probably because I play casual, because, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm me.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, I had a little bit of trouble, but I did end up killing it because you must kill it.
Yeah, you can't finish it unless you kill it. Right?
No, you can.
I mean, you
just
have to survive. That's the main thing.
So you have to survive until the clock runs out or you kill it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
So if you do kill it, then you get like extra accolades. But if you just survive, then like it's fine.
Yeah.
Like nothing bad happens.
I'm assuming since you played on casual, you killed yours.
Oh yeah, I used my arc projector. I hid behind
Same.
pillars at strategic times.
Nice.
It was fine.
I zapped it with lightning until I ran out of bullets, and then I shot it. Whoop. That's my phone alarm.
Rude.
Editing that out's going to be interesting, if I can. Anyway, I don't know why that was set, but here we are. So yeah, I just annihilated it with my heavy weapon until I ran out of bullets, and then I shot it some more, and then it fell over.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And then once you bring it down, you find out from Uvenk that, well, that was impressive. Or not Rex was the last person to bring down a Thresher Maw. Huh. Well, you suck, but what if you joined my clan instead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, come join my clan. You can't hold any land. You can't breed. You can't marry. You can't join the military. But you know what? You'll be in my clan.
Yeah. It was like, all right.
What a dick.
My favorite thing about this moment is, and I'm curious if MJ chose the same choice, but like, essentially I let Rex choose, and my favorite thing about letting Rex choose in this moment, it is this so like 80s action
Grunt?
hero
Do you
moment.
mean
Yeah.
I mean Grunt, yes. Is like, you say, it's up to you, you exchange a glance, and then both dive for cover.
Yes.
It's the best.
So this is the conversation I had.
Okay.
Because I was real mad at this very insulting offer that was given to my son.
Sure.
So I said, if I know Grunt, you're going to get his answer at muzzle velocity.
Yeah.
And Grunt goes, you do know Grunt.
Amazing.
I was just like, I love you, you dumb baby. And Uvik's like, well, that was a mistake. And then we look at each other and dive behind cover, which is an amazing moment, and I love it.
Yeah.
But I just love the whole, you do know Grunt.
That's good.
There is a conversation option where Grunt just straight up tackles Uvik to the ground, and then the shooting starts.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Oh, good. Now your alarm's going off. It'll be even.
Yep. I got a text message from my partner.
Yeah. And this fight, I mean, is a pretty standard Krogan fight. Not super tough. Grunt is like yelling and cheering most of the time and making noise. Like he's having a grand old time.
He'd be cray, yo.
Yeah. This is Disney World for him as far as he's concerned.
He's having a time of his life.
I was very satisfied with being able to kill Uvenk. I was like, yes, that is my kill. Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
I was not having it.
Yeah.
She's like, how dare you insult my son?
Yes, but I like his spiel before the fight. Like, I do love Michael Dorn's portrayal of Uvenk. He's so good in this role. He just does such a great job being this despicable character.
It's a really great delivery.
Because he's got that regalness in his voice, in his deep voice, that like when he's playing this like he feels he deserves more kind of character, it just sounds so scummy. It's perfect.
Well, he's sort of like, he's also the voice of the opposition, right?
Yeah.
Like he Rex is bucking with tradition. He's messing with like, long-held Krogan, beliefs, and he's the traditionalist, right? He's trying to hold on to the old ways, whether or not that's even beneficial for the Krogan people.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to like him, and it works.
Yeah, totally. And then after we kill them all, the shaman, Grunt is like, all right, let's go, Shepherd. And you meet the shaman and go back to Rex and the main, or not to Rex. You go back to the shaman's post, back in Tachanka, the underground city. Is there a name for that underground city that we're in for Tachanka?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's just considered Tachanka, like being on Tachanka. I'll have to double check.
Well, isn't Tachanka the planet?
You're right. And so, like, the area
Tachanka's
where you
the
are,
planet.
I'm not sure if that has a name.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Anyway.
I'm not sure if, like, we are visiting a specific city.
Yeah.
And if it has a name.
But anyway, that said, like,
right now.
while you're looking that up, but yeah, so we go back to the shaman and he praises you.
Sure.
And, that's when we get what we were talking about before, like,
I can't find it.
Grunt talks about how, like, after the shaman says that he can serve under a battle master, do all this stuff, Grunt, I keep mixing them up. Grunt is like, I have a battle master, it's Shepherd.
Yeah.
And it's like, yay, Rex.
Wait. The
What?
full line is, Shepherd is my battle master. They have no match. And for me, it was like, aw, I love you too.
Right? Yeah.
Because he's like, no one's better than my mom.
Or dad. It's great. Well, also because up to this point, before you get Grunt here, he's very oppositional. Like, he's confused and he's angry and, like, he's not, like, the whole introduction to him is like he throws you against the wall and you're not sure.
Yeah.
And there was a begrudging respect, but mostly Grunt was like, I'll eventually kill you. Whereas now Grunt genuinely loves you and is happy to serve under you.
Yeah, and also, like, after this, I don't want to get too far ahead, but, like, his mood changes. Like, he starts to laugh.
Yeah.
He starts to, like, find things funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's morbid and it's gallows humor, but he starts to find things funny.
Sure.
Which is a bit of a departure from, like, the broody, moody,
Yeah.
baby child that he was earlier.
Yeah.
And once that wraps up, the shaman says to you, well, you can talk to the shaman more, but, like, the final thing that the shaman says is, may your foes be strong enough to keep you sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a very Krogan
I
thing
love the
to
Krogan.
say.
And then Rex shows up, doesn't he?
You can go talk to him. I don't think Rex is there in that scene.
Right.
So, any other notes to add on Rite of Passage, MJ?
Not really. I have some things to say just about the Krogan in general, and that I think they are a very poetic people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I love everything that they say. Like, the Blue Rose of Ilium is still one of my favorite things
That's the
ever,
best.
and I'm working on turning it into a ukulele song.
Aww.
That's amazing.
So, if I ever manage to do that, then that'll be a fandom corner.
Nice.
But-
Amazing.
Nice.
So, it's just, they're so poetic and wonderful, and that's it. That's all I have to say about it.
No, yeah. Going back to what Nelson was saying earlier, like, this mission really gives you a 180 on how you view the Krogan. Just because, like, you only see them as one thing. And even though they are that warrior people, like, there's more dynamics to it. And it's really cool the way it kind of unfolds in a very brief mission, but still gives you a ton of information and allows you to see them, like, in operation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably the only time you really get, like, a deeper understanding of the Krogan culture until, like, maybe Mass Effect 3, where you have to save the Krogan woman from Cerberus.
Yep.
And there you learn more, but it's not until then. So this is, like, the only real entryway into Krogan culture, other than what Grunt gives you, basically.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I guess this is as good a time as any to move on to Fandom Corner, MJ?
Yes. Okay, so for Fandom Corner, I went through Etsy trying to see if I can find anything that had to do with our sweet baby boy.
Uh-huh.
And I found someone who makes, she sculpts busts as little brooches or magnets.
What?
And she did.
Oh, my
there's
fucking.
a link in the document.
Oh, my
we're
God,
looking
that's
at it.
amazing.
Yeah, we're looking at it.
That's amazing.
So it's
They did 3 for Mass Effect.
Yeah. They did Rex and Garrus as well. Amazing.
Yeah.
Holy
so this
shit.
seller's name is Sofiko Sculpts, Sofiko Sculpts. So So it's really detailed, amazing artwork.
Oh, and they're big too.
Jesus.
Yeah, like they are hefty things.
Yeah.
Can you imagine putting that like on your shirt?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I can.
This is amazing.
Like as a lapel pin?
Well, there goes $40.
So yeah, they're really cool. They're really well designed. She does some other fandoms. There is Akuma. There's Luna from Sailor Moon. I almost said Sailor Mars. That's a character from Sailor Moon. There's Toothless. There's Detective Pikachu.
Oh, these are awesome.
Oh, wow.
They're so detailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. Oh, there's Reaper from Overwatch. Yeah.
I think I need Garrus.
Garrus is good. I probably...
Yeah.
It's tough to choose between Rex and Grunt because, like, I love them both. But it would probably be my sweet lizard son as he's my favorite. These are awesome. Well, thank you for bringing these, MJ. These are really cool.
Yeah. So we'll link to that in our show notes, and we'll also tweet about it.
Yep.
So.
I guess we can talk about our next episode.
Wait,
now.
hold on.
What?
Hold on. Are you not going to ask me about my fandom corner?
Oh, do you have one?
Well, I don't have a fandom corner, but I have a fan theory.
Okay.
I think the reason why Grunt takes the Shepherd the way he does is because Grunt imprinted upon Shepherd.
Shepherd was the first thing Grunt saw.
Yeah. So I think in this, here's my theory. My theory is that the Krogan are such a violent warrior race. They're born with this instinct to like survive and at all costs, right?
Yeah.
So in order for the babies not to kill the other babies and or mother, they have to be able to imprint onto the first thing that they see as being like a caregiver, as being someone who is safe and not going to harm them, right? Mm-hmm. So evolutionarily speaking, this would need to be a trait that all Krogan have when they're born, right? So Grunt was born from a tank. The first person Grunt saw was Shepherd. And the reason why Shepherd didn't die instantly is because Grunt imprinted on Shepherd.
That's interesting. I like that theory. I mean, it fuels our referring to him as our sweet lizard son.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, he's just a very violent duck.
You heard it here, folks.
He's just a very...
That's some fan art that I need.
He's a very, very angry parrot.
All right, I know people listen to this with art skills. I need a Photoshop or a drawing of Grunt, but it's a duck.
Yes.
Make that happen, Internet.
Make it happen.
Would Grunt just be the goose, though?
Oh, I don't know. The goose is like the ultimate evil. I don't know that I would give it Grunt. I would see Saren as a goose, maybe. Or Reaper as a goose.
Damn!
A goose Reaper.
Geese are that bad? Shit! Fuck.
All right, MJ, why don't you get us
Just doing
back?
some goose crime.
Why don't you get us on track and tell the people what we're doing next?
So our next episode is the Ardot Yakshi.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have special guest, photographer, tarot reader, all-around amazing person, May Pearson, joining us for that.
Amazing. I'm looking forward to that.
Also because May is a very renegade person, so...
Oh, excellent.
Oh, nice.
We'll finally have a renegade perspective.
Oh.
That's a problem we've had. All of our guests will be like, oh, I'm a Paragon too. Well, fuck.
God damn it.
Because the goal is...
I played Renegade. I just played it once just to get it over with.
Well, that's what I did. But
Yeah.
like the what we posited for at least me and MJ, and we say to our fans if they're going to come on, or listeners rather, I hate the term fans, come on the show, is like we're trying to play it real. Like if we were in those situations, what are the choices we'd make?
Yeah.
And the reality is we're big old softies who want to wrap our arms around the world, so we make a lot of Paragon decisions.
I'm a Paragon who wants to have sex with all the space people.
I mean, that's the point of the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same though.
All right, well, before we wrap up the episode, Nelson, why don't you do a little self-promo? Tell people where they can find you on the internet.
You could find me at nelsonlugo.com. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Just search. There's probably like 7 Nelson Lugos. I'm the handsome one.
And of course, we've mentioned before, Nelson does a podcast with Schaefer the Dark Lord, the Epic Podcast, which comes out monthly-ish.
Ish.
You can find that on all podcasting platforms as well. Yeah, thank you for coming back on the show.
Thanks for having me. I thought I was banned because of all of the F-bombs that I dropped the last time I was here. And I was trying.
Means that we had to mark it explicit.
Yeah, literally the reason this show has an explicit warning is because of you and like one other guest.
Well, I was trying to be on my best behavior for this one, so fucking fuck. Fucking shitballs. Dick fuck, shit fuck.
There you go. Getting in the quota.
Getting in the
wire.
quota, yeah.
All right, moving on.
Well, if you like what you heard here, follow us on social media at ReignitePod on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram, facebook.com/reignitepod, or you can send us an email at reignitepod@gmail.com. You can rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcatcher, and that helps us get seen so other people can find us.
We're also members of the Certain Point of View network. Visit certainpov.com to find nerdy podcasts, each with a unique point of view. You can also find a permanent invite link to our Discord server on the website. And join in on the conversation. We chat about Mass Effect a lot. There's a spoiler channel for Andromeda that I'm banned from because I haven't played it yet. Yeah, come hang out with us on the Discord. It's a lot of fun.
So Matt and I do some other stuff. I'm on a podcast called The Circle of Friendship, which is a podcast about the Circle of Magic books by Tamara Pierce, where we discuss friendship, threadcraft, and Briar Moss. You can find that at COFpod on Twitter. And I'm also on a podcast called The Rob Thomas, No Not That One, Robcast, where we talk about the works of Rob Thomas, not that one. You can find that at Not That Robcast on Twitter. Matt, what do you do?
I have a variety of podcasts on the Certain POV network, as well as my own podcast that I do that's an interview series. Outside of it, Nelson has been a guest several times, called Crash Course Autographs.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's not great. It's fine. Nelson's episodes are good, though. I've also been doing a lot of Twitch streaming. I'm actually on Twitch fatigue because over this past Saturday, as of when we're recording this, I did Extra Life 2019. It's a yearly charity where I play video games for 24 hours, or any games for 24 hours straight to raise money for children's hospitals. It was a blast. I raised over $500. My team raised over $800. And it's insane. You can follow my streaming at twitch.tv/DJ_Stormageddon. Lately, I've been doing a running series of playing through Super Metroid again, which I fell in love with all over again. But again, just look up DJ_Stormageddon on Twitch, and you can follow me there for all the streaming I do.
There's a motherfucking mosquito in my kitchen. How are you still alive? Anyway.
I don't remember that loyalty mission.
Me neither.
Thank you to Christina Red Spinks for our It's Okay to Be a Marshmallow t-shirt on Redbubble featuring our favorite marshmallow, Kaden Nolenko. You can find more of their work at Chaos Does Art on Instagram. We'd also like to thank David Boyle for designing our logo, which you can also get on a shirt through Redbubble, and Dan Bull for letting us use the Mass Effect rap for our theme music. I'm MJ.
And I'm Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
And I'm Nelson Lugo. We should go.
You're listening to Reignite. I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite podcast on the Citadel.
Hey Nerferders, my name is Case Aiken, and for over 2 years I've hosted my show, Another Pass, where I sit down with interesting guests to talk about movies that we find fascinating but flawed. Good movies, bad movies, doesn't matter. We find ways that they could have been improved. So if you ever thought that a sequel dropped the ball by forgetting about a plotline, that an epic could have been saved by introducing the director to an editor, or that a comedy didn't work hard enough to have some substance behind the laughs, then check out Another Pass podcast at certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.